The sun gently illuminated the Jetavana grove, casting soft shadows beneath ancient trees, where Buddha often held his teachings. Birds chirped quietly, creating a serene backdrop that complemented the peace within the grove. Disciples gathered, their minds eager yet burdened by questions that lingered like clouds. Among them sat a young man, his gaze a mixture of wonder and despair. He carried a weight upon his heart, invisible yet profound. He bowed before Buddha, his voice trembling as he spoke. "Blessed One, I feel misplaced in this world." One day, a violent storm swept through the forest, threatening the fragile nest balanced upon a high branch. The mother sparrow spread her wings, shielding her chicks, bearing the brunt of the storm's fury without hesitation. "I do not belong anywhere." Buddha gestured for him to sit closer, ensuring that his words could be heard with clarity. The young man obeyed, his curiosity overtaking his hesitation. Buddha began to speak, his voice like a calm river flowing steadily through valleys. "Young man," Buddha said, "this feeling you carry is one shared by many who seek meaning beyond the surface." The disciples listened intently, their attention tethered to Buddha's words as if they were a lifeline in a turbulent sea. "Let me tell you a story," Buddha said, "of a deer that wandered endlessly in search of belonging." The disciples leaned forward, their minds preparing to absorb wisdom hidden within the tale. Buddha began, "There was once a deer living in a great forest, surrounded by abundance yet restless in spirit." His words painted vivid images of the forest, lush and teeming with life, yet lonely for the wandering deer. The deer ventured into glades where tall grass shimmered under the sun's rays. It felt as though the grass sought to stifle its movements. By the riverside, Buddha continued, the water glistened brightly, reflecting a world the deer felt foreign to. The young man nodded slightly, his expression revealing a connection to the deer's plight. Despite his efforts, some monks accused him of seeking favor with the elders or wishing to impress the assembly. Yet, the monk continued his work, undeterred by their words, for his heart was rooted in the purity of intention. His words resonated deeply within the young man, drawing parallels to his own feelings of displacement. And so, the deer wandered further, Buddha continued, searching for a place where its heart could rest. The disciple bowed once more, gratitude flowing from his heart, his questions beginning to dissipate like mist under the sun as the day progressed. Other disciples joined, their presence forming a circle of attentive minds, seeking the Buddha's wisdom. His voice carried an aura of mystery, inviting his disciples to explore the deeper truths hidden within the story. Under that tree sat a wise sage, whose presence emanated a tranquility unlike any the deer had seen. It neither demands nor bargains. It gives unconditionally, like a river offering water to all, regardless of their purpose, just as the river's flow cannot be stopped by pebbles. True care is not hindered by the flaws of others. When one acts with true compassion, their intention is pure, their actions a reflection of the boundless love within. Those who truly care do so as the lotus blooms, untainted by the mud from which it emerges. The disciples listened, their silence carrying the weight of their understanding. The forest alive with the echoes of truth. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky with hues of orange and red. As the Buddha continued his teaching, true compassion is also discerned by its ability to heal and uplift, without diminishing or depleting the one who offers it. It is a light that brightens without burning, a source of strength that fosters growth in those who receive it. Ananda, when someone truly cares for you, their actions will not bind you but liberate you from your struggles. They will mirror your suffering, not to amplify it, but to help you see it clearly and transcend it. Buddha turned his gaze to the young man, his expression steady yet compassionate. "Tell me," Buddha asked, "what do you think the deer learned from the sage?" The young man lowered his eyes in contemplation, searching for words that felt both truthful and profound. Perhaps, he said, the deer learned that its sense of displacement was rooted within itself, not the places it visited. Buddha nodded, a subtle affirmation that encouraged deeper reflection. The Buddha remained beneath the sala tree, his presence a beacon of unwavering compassion amidst the changing tides of time. Another day. The sun rose gently over the tranquil plains, casting a golden hue upon the earth as life awakened. The Buddha sat near the banks of the Ganges River, its waters flowing serenely under the morning light's caress. Rahula approached, his face thoughtful, carrying questions that stirred deeply within him. Bowing reverently before the Blessed One, his words carried an invitation, not a command, allowing the young man space to explore his thoughts. The young man bowed deeply, gratitude shining in his eyes, and retreated to a quiet corner of the grove. The disciples dispersed, their hearts filled with echoes of wisdom that lingered like dew on morning grass. The grove remained still, the trees silently bearing witness to the transformative power of Buddha's words. Buddha sat in quiet meditation, his presence grounding the world around him in profound tranquility. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, the grove seemed to exhale, as if relieved. Jivan welcomed the traveler, providing a meal and lodging, though he knew nothing of the man's past or intentions. The next morning, the traveler departed, stealing some of Jivan's pottery, selling it for profit in a nearby town. Despite his loss, Jivan did not harden his heart but continued offering aid to strangers who passed through the village. One cannot let others' actions change one's nature. Rahula, for compassion flows naturally, unbound by conditions or judgment. The grove grew dark, illuminated only by the faint glow of stars, each a reminder of the infinite possibilities in existence. Buddha, still seated beneath the ancient trees, remained a beacon of wisdom for all who sought belonging and peace. Rahula, like the river finds its course, one must flow with discernment, maintaining balance while upholding compassion's unwavering purity. There was once a farmer named Bala who cultivated his land with great care, ensuring it thrived throughout the seasons. The young man returned, his heart eager to seek further guidance, his restless spirit longing for clarity. He bowed before Buddha, whose serene presence calmed the swirling emotions within the young man's mind. Buddha gestured for him to sit, ensuring his words would reach the young man with the utmost clarity. Buddha began. Let me share another story that may illuminate your path further. Like a lantern within the darkness, the disciples leaned forward, their curiosity ignited, their thoughts prepared to grasp the wisdom Buddha was about to reveal. There was once a potter, Buddha said, whose skill was unmatched, crafting vessels of varied shapes and purposes, each beautiful and unique. Rahula, he said, compassion becomes a burden only when tethered to expectations or the desire for recognition from others. There was once a king named Chandrapal who built a grand hospital, offering treatment to all who were in need. Many praised his generosity, yet there were those who accused him of seeking fame or political gain through these actions. The king remained silent, for he knew his intention was pure, rooted in the well-being of his people, not their praise. When one offers compassion without expectation, the burden ceases, and the heart remains light, unshaken by doubt or rejection. True compassion flows freely, undeterred by misunderstanding, for its source is not external but the boundless love within the giver. Rahula bowed deeply, his heart filled with gratitude and clarity, his questions fading like mist in the warmth of understanding. The disciples nearby had gathered, quietly, forming a circle around the Buddha, their presence reflecting a shared yearning for wisdom. The Buddha's voice carried over the flowing river, a timeless melody blending with nature's song, weaving teachings into hearts and minds. Compassion, Rahula, is not a trade or transaction. It does not measure worth or demand gratitude in return for its offering. One day, Buddha said, the pot accidentally caught its reflection in a puddle and truly saw itself for the first time. The young man leaned closer, his curiosity urging him to hear what transformative insight the pot would glean from its reflection. The pot saw its curves, its unique shape, and its imperfections, Buddha said, his words carrying an air of revelation. It realized it had spent so much time envying others that it had forgotten its own nature and purpose. Rahula and the disciples sat in reverent silence, the Ganges whispering softly, carrying the Buddha's words downstream as if to eternity. The sun climbed higher, casting its golden light over the land, illuminating not only the earth but the depths of understanding. The Buddha remained seated, his presence a sanctuary of peace and wisdom, his teachings a compass for wandering and seeking hearts. Another day, the sun descended gently over the hills of Sravasti, painting the sky with hues of red and gold. His words carried a gentle power, encouraging self-acceptance and mindfulness among his followers. You may feel misplaced when you measure yourself against others, Buddha said. But belonging begins with honoring your own nature. Master, he began, I fear those who care for me do so out of obligation. How can I know their hearts? The Buddha's gaze softened, carrying both compassion and insight, as he gestured for the merchant to sit close beside him. All hearts reveal themselves through actions. Merchant, the Buddha said gently, like the surface of still water reflects the clear sky. Let me tell you a story, he continued, his voice weaving the calm of nature with the depth of ancient truths. His words carried profound simplicity, offering a pathway to clarity and understanding that felt attainable to all present. The mirror within becomes clear, Buddha continued, when the dust of attachment and aversion is wiped away through mindful practice. Many servants fled, fearful of sickness or distracted by their own ambitions, leaving the king alone except for one. Channa, a simple servant, stayed, attending to the king day and night with unwavering care, unprompted by duty or reward. For today, Buddha said, let us reflect on the importance of embracing your nature and clearing the mirror within. His words carried an invitation, allowing the disciples to explore their thoughts without pressure or expectation. The merchant listened intently, the Buddha's story resonating deeply, drawing clarity from the intricate truths within each carefully spoken word. Master, the merchant asked after a pause, how can I mirror compassion myself, to better understand its presence in others? The Buddha motioned toward the evening sky, the stars beginning to emerge, shining softly within the vast expanse above them. The grove remained still, the trees serving as silent witnesses to the transformation unfolding within those who sought wisdom. Buddha sat in quiet meditation, his presence grounding the world around him in profound tranquility, like the lotus blooming amidst murky waters. Compassion rises above confusion, embodying sincerity and the wisdom of unconditional care. The merchant bowed slightly, his gaze fixed on the Buddha, as the gentle wind carried the echoes of evening across the grove. Master, he continued thoughtfully, how should I respond to care that seems insincere or driven by hidden motives instead of love? The Buddha's expression reflected both patience and understanding as he leaned slightly forward, his voice resonating with unshakable calm. Compassion responds to insincerity not with judgment but with discernment, knowing when to give and when to preserve balance. Though questions of purpose persisted, their weight lightened, revealing space for clarity and growth. The grove grew dark, illuminated by stars that glistened like jewels, each symbolizing infinite possibilities in existence. Instead of anger, Sita chose to continue weaving, limiting her work for him while sharing her blankets freely with the needy. Sita's compassion remained, yet she balanced her kindness with wisdom, preserving her energy while ensuring its purity endured beyond deception. Through discernment, we preserve compassion's essence, allowing it to uplift ourselves and others even in the face of false intentions. The merchant nodded slowly, his heart lighter, filled with a sense of clarity he had sought but failed to grasp before. He bowed low before Buddha, whose serene presence enveloped the grove like a soft and calming breeze. Buddha regarded him kindly and gestured for him to sit closer, ensuring his words would reach the young man's heart directly. Today, Buddha said, I will share one last story that may help you discover the answer you seek. The disciples leaned forward, their hearts prepared to absorb the wisdom Buddha would impart. Eager for transformation, there was once a seed, Buddha began, that fell into a patch of soil, uncertain of its destiny or purpose. His words painted a vivid image of the seed, small yet filled with infinite potential hidden within its fragile form. True care is not measured by its outcome but by the intention behind its offering. Sustaining itself through purity of heart, the merchant bowed deeply, gratitude radiating from his soul, carrying the teachings back to his life like a beacon of wisdom. His voice carried gentle empathy, resonating deeply within the hearts of those gathered in the grove. One day, Buddha continued. The sun warmed the soil and rain nourished it, setting the stage for the seed's growth. The disciples nodded quietly, understanding that external conditions often influence but do not define the growth of all living beings. Without thinking, Buddha said, the seed began to sprout, responding instinctively to the warmth and nourishment provided. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. His voice invited contemplation, urging his disciples to reflect on their own journeys and moments of uncertainty. Over time, Buddha continued, the seed became a mighty tree, offering shade to travelers, fruit to the hungry, and shelter to birds. She whispered, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. Thank you, Master, for the light you have brought to my path and for the wisdom that guides me forward. Buddha inclined his head, his gaze warm and knowing, his silence a testament to the depth of his understanding and compassion. The seed did not need to know its purpose, Buddha said, to fulfill it through its actions and presence. His gaze settled on the young man, whose expression revealed a growing understanding of the profound truths hidden within the story. But how can I find inner peace, he continued, when my mind remains tethered to fears of betrayal and doubt? The Buddha gazed at Ananda with profound compassion, his presence calm as the silent moonlight reflecting on tranquil waters. Sit with me, Ananda, the Buddha said, motioning to the ground beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, its roots grounded in wisdom. Each heart present carried the light of understanding, each spirit renewed by the courage to release and to trust the flow of life. His words carried profound simplicity, offering a pathway to peace and understanding that felt within reach for all present. By living in harmony with your nature, Buddha continued, you fulfill your purpose without ever needing to define it. It arises from understanding yourself and the nature of your mind. But Blessed One, Ananda asked hesitantly, how can I release the fears that weigh heavily upon my heart each day? The Buddha raised his hand, pointing to the sky above. By practicing mindfulness, Buddha replied, and cultivating patience, you allow your true self to emerge, guided by wisdom and inner peace. His words carried an air of quiet authority, inviting the disciples to nurture their growth through conscious choices and understanding. Growth, Buddha said, is not rushed, nor can it be forced. It unfolds naturally when nourished by intention and care. The disciples nodded, their hearts absorbing the truths Buddha revealed, their spirits uplifted by the clarity his teachings provided. For today, Buddha said, reflect on the seed's journey and the ways you can nurture your own growth and purpose. His words carried an invitation rather than a command, encouraging exploration and self-discovery within his disciples. The young man bowed deeply, gratitude shining in his eyes, and retreated to a quiet corner of the grove for reflection. The disciples dispersed, their hearts carrying the wisdom Buddha imparted, like seeds carried by the wind to fertile soil. The grove remained still, its ancient trees serving as silent witnesses to the transformation unfolding within all who listened. But one day, he opened the sack and discovered it was filled not with treasures but with stones the Buddha shared. He laughed and let the sack go, his heart lighter, his step free. The Buddha concluded, his tone calm. He closed his eyes, his mind filled with the seed's journey and the profound truth revealed by Buddha's words. The evening passed, and with it came an understanding that gently rooted itself within the young man's heart. The Buddha nodded, his smile serene. Release the sack of fears, Ananda. Buddha, still seated beneath ancient trees, remained a beacon of wisdom for all who sought belonging, growth, and clarity on their journeys. Thus, the teachings of purpose and harmony continued to unfold within the young man. Nurtured by Buddha's words and the serenity of the grove, let your heart be as light as air. Ananda breathed deeply, his thoughts turning inward, searching for the strength to release the doubts that had burdened him. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.